Welcome to the Wake and Bake podcast with your two favorite hosts in the whole world, Peter York and Quentin Sponsoli. This morning we're talking about Derek Carr has a bad shoulder. The news that rocked the NFL world on Friday afternoon. And the implications it has to mold the NFL 2025 draft. And it really does. Me and Pete believe it really has huge implications because if you're a listener, which we don't know that there is anyone that's a listener at this point. Let's just be honest, right? There's a slim chance anybody's listening to this. But me and Pete were talking about this.
Not even your mom.
On Friday. Not even my own mom. I actually don't think my mom knows about this podcast. I haven't even told her. Me and Pete already had. Pete is a huge Patriots fan. And so we were talking about that the Patriots, we believe, are ripe to move down. They would love to move down because their biggest need is a tackle, left tackle, which is one of the most, is the premium of premium offensive line positions.
And if Carter and Hunter aren't there at 4, which everyone assumes they will not be.
It's an easy decision.
There's not really anybody worth taking at 4.
I think, yeah, but let's be real too. Even if Carter or Hunter was there, I still think the Patriots want to move down.
No, if one of those guys are there, they're going to take.
They'll take
those
them?
guys, yeah, because they're
Really? You think they'll stick and pick?
Because those are, everyone feels like those are the two guys who are worth a top 10 pick.
See,
who have the chance of being an all-pro player. I mean, whereas like nobody else really.
Yeah,
does.
but I still think. I mean, whatever it takes to increase the price point to get one of those guys, right? Like. Even if it's not a quarterback, like say Abdul, that means a quarterback went. That means Shador went. Right. That's what that means.
Yeah, that's the only way one of those guys falls to 4 is if 2 QBs go.
And then the question is,
3.
would teams move up to get Hunter, Travis Hunter, or Abdul Carter? Would they do that? That's a good question to answer. Do you think teams would move up for that? I kind of don't think so.
I don't think they would.
I don't think they would either. It just costs too much.
Yeah.
Quarterback's kind of a unique situation because you have to have a quarterback in the league, to be anything.
But also, like, if one of those guys is there at 4, the Patriots need both of those positions. They need wide receiver and they need edge rusher. So
I mean, it wouldn't hurt.
Like, they're not.
It's not as if they can't use that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There's worse positions to be in. to have to take at Bill Carter or Travis Hunter. Oh man, these croissant rolls. So, getting back to this Derek Carr situation, Derek Carr is the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, who everybody assumed was going to start. And now it looks like he's got a shoulder injury that's an issue, and he may not be able to play this season. So the Saints went from kind of needing the quarterback to being completely desperate. I was reading that article in The Athletic, Pete, and they were talking about what would the price. Well, the Panthers at 8. Kind of being the prime candidate, willing to move back, but they also confirmed that the Steelers, it is who we thought it was. It's the Steelers and the Saints.
Yeah.
It's no secret that the Steelers are desperate for a quarterback. And the Saints as well.
I mean, both those teams feel like they're a quarterback away from making the playoffs.
They have good
Steelers
squads.
are already making the playoffs.
They have
without
decent
a quarterback.
squads, yeah. The Saints were kind of a frisky team last season when they had a quarterback. I mean, shoot, they started out the season hot.
They started out super hot. They were overall, I think, 5-5 with Carr.
Red hot.
And 0-7 without him.
By the way,
Rattler went 0-6, and somebody else started another game and lost.
yeah. I mean, they started out looking pretty fearsome. And then once they lost Carr, and then everybody got used to their new scheme because they had a new OC. Wasn't it Kubiak's kid too?
I think so, and I think he's still there.
I don't think so. But the new regime, Kellen Moore. Who did Kellen Moore bring in to be his OC?
Oh no, because it's Kellen.
We all know Kellen Moore's calling the plays though.
Right.
By the way, on a Kellen Moore tangent here, Kellen Moore got to a Super Bowl. He got a Super Bowl, dude. That's something Shanahan that's eluded Shanahan, by the way. Because Shanahan was the OC for the Falcons that notoriously lost to the Patriots in that epic comeback, right?
That's right.
Shanahan, I'm pretty sure, has never won a Super Bowl. As smart as everybody believes that guy is in football, and I do too, by the way.
Right.
I think I think he knows football. I mean, he's not just his legendary father's son anymore. I think he's carved his own reputation. And I mean, the Niners, the previous season, boy, they gave the Chiefs all they could handle. I mean, it was down to the wire. Both times they've been in the Super Bowl, it came down to the wire, right?
Yeah. Well, no, the first time they lost big because Because Purdy didn't play, right? Or did they just straight?
Purdy was down. Yeah.
Was that the Super Bowl or was that an NFC Championship that I'm thinking of? When they like didn't have a quarterback.
That year, Purdy got injured, but that was when the Niners got eliminated by the Eagles, and the Eagles played the Chiefs the first time.
Okay, yeah.
And gave the Chiefs. They gave the Chiefs all they could handle in the first round.
Yeah, it was the NFC Championship that they.
I mean, it was part of the reason
like McCaffrey playing quarterback.
It was part of the reason I felt the Eagles. I was like, man, they're a lot better team than they were the first time. The Chiefs are not as good a team as the last time they saw each other, and the Eagles are a much better team as the last time they saw each other in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of the same players on the field here, by the way. Hurts was there. I mean, there's only a few people that were missing. Like Saquon was missing, and that's it. All those other guys know what it's like to lose a Super Bowl.
Well, and the Eagles' defensive line had gotten a lot better.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, more importantly, the Chiefs' offensive line got a lot worse.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles' D-line was as strong as ever, but the Chiefs' offensive line got a lot worse, markedly worse than that visit to the Super Bowl. So anyway, just wanted to make the point. Kellen Moore has got a Super Bowl here, okay? He has tasted Lombardi. It's not nothing.
After he left the Chargers.
Of course, after he worked with the Chargers, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
You get
a taste. You get your foot in the door. It's like an entry level.
The head coach of the Eagles played was a Chargers coach. Okay, right? Wasn't he? Steichen was a Chargers coach. Who is the Eagles head coach?
Sarkisian.
Who?
Sirianni.
Sirianni. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He was
99% sure he was a Chargers coach.
At some point.
I think he was there under Mike McCoy.
Okay.
Did I ever talk about that? Like the Mike McCoy coaching tree with the Chargers? Like half of those guys are head coaches now. Like he really did assemble an amazing head coaching crew or a coaching squad.
Just never came to fruition in Southern California.
If I'm recalling correctly, that was Phillip Rivers' one of his last years, and then the Chargers O-line was horrific. I feel like his whole tenure as a head coach, the Chargers O-line was just horrific. It was one of the worst. There was a stint there where the Chargers, I want to say there was a 4 to 5 year stint where the Chargers O-line, we had decent starters lined up to start the year, and then every single one of them got injured. And it was practice squatters out there.
Yeah.
And it totally tanked our season every time. I mean, that's when Telesco started drafting. That's when he drafted Slater. That's when he he was just Telesco learned dude, you just have to draft these linemen high and keep doing it until you have until you have an offensive line. You have to. You just have to.
That's why I need the Patriots to start taking some offensive line.
It's where the Patriots are at right now. You can't. The Chargers got to be behind the ball on that, and once you get behind the ball on that, that's a hard thing to overcome. So yeah, we went down that tangent. You have to go work for the Chargers before you go win a Super Bowl, okay? Are you happy, Pete?
Yeah.
That's been established, all right?
Okay.
For Charger fans, yeah, you know it. It's true. It's the unfortunate truth. We're trying, Harbaugh, I think, can shut that down. Our coaches are going to start visiting the promised land. Getting back to the Derek Carr situation and the Saints becoming much more desperate to move up. I don't believe the Panthers are the team that wants. We believe the Patriots. This strengthens our case substantially that the Patriots are the real team that's gonna move down.
I haven't seen anything official coming out of their camp, but like I said, they're not gonna announce anything 10 days before the draft anyway.
No way.
You're not getting any official statements from a team now.
Vrabel's tight-lipped anyway. He's not. They know their position.
Yeah. They just have to start talking up the fact that Vegas will take a quarterback
in that article
hops
too.
over him.
You know, they're talking about the Saints and Steelers, but they were wondering who the dark horse is. Who might move up? And yeah, I think it's the Jets.
I mean, the Jets definitely need a quarterback.
I think with Derek Carr hurt, you know, these other quarterbacks, their value just went up. Not just Sanders, but Milroe and Dart as well.
Yeah.
And nobody's talking about the Raiders taking a quarterback, but
they should.
I think that's a serious threat. And the Raiders want it that way. They want it quiet. Sitting where they're sitting, they want it quiet.
Right.
Because they know they're going to get their pick on the second tranche, most likely.
Well,
Like the second tier of these quarterbacks. Sanders, Dart, and Milroe should all be there.
They don't want people to trade with the Patriots and jump over them.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. So the Raiders are sitting real quiet. You know what? I think the Jenty stuff is total smoke screen.
Yeah, they're just talking about
It's
Gentry.
total. That's some Tom Brady smoke screen stuff right there, dude. Absolutely. The fact that the GM is talking about, like, Spy Tech, the fact that the GM is talking about, like, oh, my kid said he'll leave the family if we don't take Jenty. Did you hear that?
I had something like that.
Yeah. His kid was just like, if you don't take Jenty, like, I'm out of. That's total smoke screen, man.
Yeah.
There's no way the GM is going to talk up their pick like that unless that's smoke screen, okay?
Right.
Absolute smoke screen. And all the pundits are falling for it, too. They all have the Raiders taking, like, Jenty, I think.
They do.
All
They
the mock
all
drafts.
like really like Jenty.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Vegas.
That is utter horseshit. Carroll's an old fox like that, too, by the way. He's a sly old fox like that. Here's extending Geno. Yeah, I actually read a really great article on Pete Carroll. It was a former player. And the former player, some Hall of Famer, he was talking about how the thing he admired most about Carroll was his ability to bring in players and have them compete for a position, but to do it from a place of support and affirmation. Like he doesn't, it doesn't feel like he's trying to tear you down. But it's the old iron sharpens iron. Like, you're as good as your competition, so we need as much competition as this team at every position as possible. Yeah. That makes us a better team. And he's really good at driving that message home. So the players just understand this is the way it is. And at the same time, he's supporting everybody just to get better. You know?
Yeah. That's why New England fans like Belichick more than Carroll as a head coach. It's not about the championships. It's just the self-deprecation that New Englanders thrive on.
You're right. Belichick's style is the opposite.
Just
like, it's do your job or lose your job.
Beating you down.
Yeah, lose your job. Like, do your job or lose your job.
Everything you do is wrong. You're
dead to us if you don't perform. But guess what? We win Lombardis.
Yeah.
You know? At least they used to.
Yep.
At one point, they won a lot of Lombardis. So... So bringing in a rookie QB that doesn't have to start, someone that it's a little bit of a flyer, but you're going to get your pick at 6. You're going to get, theoretically.
But are you picking a backup quarterback at 6 overall?
I mean, Geno was a backup for a long time. Like, if there's anybody to learn from, it's kind of Geno, right?
And he was a high pick. I don't remember how high, but
he was a high pick. But you know, Geno. Look, they secured Geno. He's going to get paid. But again, I mean, this all goes back to Pete Carroll's credo of competition and them smoke screening. They're not taking Jenty, man. They like, if somebody doesn't move up in front of them, like for the Patriots, at the Patriots spot to take their QB, like, you watch, the Raiders will definitely take a QB. And we can't be smarter than the GMs on these other teams, okay? They know this is all smoke screen bullshit by the Raiders. Nobody's got to be sitting there believing it, you know? Thinking, oh yeah, the Raiders are not going to take a QB.
I mean, I guess everyone got stuck on them taking Gentry back when, in the early days, when people thought Shador and Cam Ward were going to go in the top 3. You know?
Yeah.
And so they weren't going to have a chance for one of those quarterbacks. So at that point, you're not taking So, and then, yeah, it just kind of never changed. Everyone just stuck with the Jenty idea. Even though people don't think that both of those quarterbacks are going to go in the top 3 anymore.
The draft compensation, here's the thing. So if a quarterback's involved in the move up, you get significantly more draft capital. I mean, this
Usually happens in the first round.
The strength of my case here too is that yes, there's other teams that could trade down like Carolina, but hands down, the Patriots are the ripest team to want to move down in the top 20.
Yeah.
Because of what they need, because they want a top-level tackle, and they're way too high. They're one of the few teams that actually has a high enough pick where they could move down 5 spots and still get their tackle. Like, they could move down to the middle of the draft and still get their tackle.
Right.
Nobody else is in that position. The Panthers are not in that position. They're 8. Yeah, here's actually, this is a good tangent. Canales, the head coach of the Panthers, boy, last year the Panthers started out looking like the Panthers, right? Just
You mean that in a good way or a bad way?
train wreck. Train wreck. I mean, since Rivera left, since they fired Rivera, it's been a train wreck over there.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, they're just, they're throwing darts, trying to get some linemen to play quarterback.
Well, they've been given hot shot coaching regimes.
Yeah.
There was Frank Reich, who brought in a lot of great coaches, but they just didn't make it jive for some reason. They got the number 1 pick with Bryce.
Yeah, and
Bryce it was a train wreck.
Yeah, even in his good games, he looked bad.
Frank Reich is a great example of how you can have smart coaches and it just not jived.
Yeah.
Just not come together.
Whether it's a talent level or a buy-in level, whether the guys don't have the talent or the guys don't have the buy-in.
Whatever, yeah, maybe it wasn't the buy-in from the team, I don't know. But Canales, it was looking train wreck, right?
Yeah.
again, it started out rough. And then Canales had to make a big boy decision. And he benched Bryce. You remember that?
Yeah.
Which was crazy.
Right.
And then they started winning games. And then Bryce got his shit together and somehow came back and looked good for the end of the season.
Right.
Like, wow, man, Canales. That was impressive. That was an impressive coaching move. I think Rich Eisen was talking about that. Like, man. And we all know, like, the ownership of the Panthers, like Tepper, that guy Tepper, like, he gives his coach, he just fires guys, like.
Right, which is, well, that's why they've had like 4 coaches in 5 years.
Yeah, it's just like, he'll just keep firing guys until he finds his guy. Like, there's no time, you know? There's no, like, let's give you 3 or 4 years to give you a fair shake. So, impressive year for that guy as a head coach.
Yeah.
He was kind of the young hot thing out of that coaching cycle. Like, people wanted him.
Right. He makes a bold. You got to have a bold move as a new coach.
It was very Brandon Staley-esque, actually, his rise. Like, he ascended really fast. And that's why he didn't get a whole bunch of offers.
Right.
But he was on a hot list, you know?
So now, does he stick with Bryce or draft another guy?
Yeah, we don't know.
That's the question.
We don't know what that guy's track record is. He's a he's a riverboat casino dealer at this point. Like, who knows? Would not shock me if he's sticked and picked.
Right.
Just to give Bryce some competition.
Yeah, if he likes one of those guys, and
because the Red Rifle's not the answer, Dalton.
No.
He's a good backup. He's a great backup.
I didn't even know he was still in the league until he started starting games for Carolina.
I'm pretty sure they re-signed him, and they paid him pretty decent money.
To be the backup again this year?
Not starter money, but yeah, I mean, he proved his salt as a backup. He's a great backup.
Yeah. He had a great year last year.
Fantastic backup. Fantastic in the QB room. He's as veteran as they get. I mean, he was a top shelf quarterback for a hot minute.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody ever hated Dalton. He just got his fair shake to. And I think he delivered on his starter.
Yeah, he was a solid starter for a few years.
He wasn't a blown pick. I mean, he happened to compete during the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning era, bro. Like, right? That was his competition, right?
Yeah.
He was kind of the young guy.
And he was on Cincinnati when Cincinnati was terrible.
Yeah. That was the Marvin Lewis Bengals there. Good for Dalton. But I don't think... Yeah. I stand behind my position that the Panthers could draft a quarterback their darn selves.
They could.
Unless they get a ransom for it.
But they're probably not in trade-up territory.
The King's ransom for it. No, they're not going to trade up.
They're not in, I have to have a quarterback today.
No. Could Shadur fall to them to 8? It's possible.
He could.
It's possible.
Could. Even with someone trading up with the Patriots, they could still end up with the third QB at 8. The other option for the Saints is to tank this year and play for Arch Manning next year when he comes out in the draft.
I think if the Chargers... What were you saying about Arch Manning?
So the other option for the Saints is to tank, to unofficially tank for Arch Manning.
Oh, for Arch Manning.
Try to get a top pick for him.
What do you know about Arch Manning?
Just said he's Peyton's kid, so he's automatically pretty good at quarterback.
He's a Manning, so he's automatically really good? Yeah. Outside of that he's a Manning?
He's going to be above average.
Did you ever see him play for Texas?
No.
He's with Texas.
But they've been talking about him for 10 years, like since he was in middle school.
He didn't get to start last year, but they did use him. Did you see any of his highlights?
No.
So Texas started Ewers, who was had been the starter and deserved to start. More experience,
right?
Older, more experience. I don't know if Arch Manning was a freshman or a sophomore this year. I feel like he may have been a freshman. And that's why they didn't want to start him.
Yeah.
But they did have some plays where they put him back there. And he's
not ready.
No, dude. He was dealing, but he's got wheels.
Oh, yeah.
He's got wheels, he's shredded. He shredded a defense and took it to the house, and they couldn't catch him. It was like, what? He looked like Peyton Manning meets Michael Vick.
He's not the pocket passer of old.
No, it was, that's what you expect out of a Manning, is a supreme pocket passer.
Yeah.
And he may have that. But he put on a Michael Vick, dude. He shredded it. It looked like the defenders were standing still.
Dang.
And he took it to the house for 80 yards. It was what? This kid. It was so crazy. And they only put him in for a few plays too. Poor Ewers, because they were calling for Ewers. Pull Ewers! How are you not starting Arch Manning?
Right. Yeah.
And the coaches, they stuck to their guns, nah. Yeah, we know. We know he's... By the way, Ewers, actually, that's a good subject. Ewers draft stock. That guy's he's coming out in the draft and there's nothing.
Yeah, nobody talks about him.
There have been teams sending contingents out to see Ewers. So it's not that there's no interest in him. Matter of fact, if you were going to peg another dark horse QB that could wind up in the first round, Milroe or Ewers, you can make an argument for Ewers. A lot of teams showed up for his pro day.
I feel like I've only heard his name in like the late round talk.
I mean, it's pretty quiet.
About if you're just going to take a 5th round quarterback. Six, 6. The Saints have drafted so they've had Carr for a couple years, but they've drafted a QB, a late QB, I think 4 years in a row, trying to develop a serviceable backup or a next year starter, like an eventual starter, and they have failed on all of those guys, which is why they had Rattler and the other guy.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, the Saints are going through what the Patriots were going through.
Except they had Derek Carr.
Although getting their hands on Derek Carr, you would have thought would have satisfied that, but now Derek Carr's been hurt. Derek Carr's done.
Yeah, I mean they haven't officially made anything
That guy's
public,
over.
but
I think teams are
I
over.
feel like
him.
if it's so bad he needs surgery, is he really coming back from shoulder surgery
that's what I'm saying.
at this point?
Like that guy's washed, right?
I mean, I don't think he's washed.
He left the Raiders, and how many games has he played? Did he give them one healthy season? Or was last season his first season with them?
I think last season was his first.
I feel like last season was just, so he hasn't given them a healthy season.
But it was just that 1 year.
I think they paid him pretty decent too.
Yeah, standard starting quarterback. I mean, I think he's on. Pretty sure he has a significant cap hit this year, and then he's got team options for the year after. That wouldn't be as bad.
Saints really got kind of burned on that one.
Yeah.
So far. Wonder how old Derek Carr is.
I mean, he's been around for 10 plus years, so he's got to be pushing 35, right? I would guess 33, 34.
I think his name still carries some weight. You could do worse, but... Oh, dude, did you see The Browns re-signed Joe Flacco.
They did. It's official.
Yeah. The Flack attack is back.
I mean, he's another guy who's a very established.
He won't.
Good starting quarterback, but can he make it through a whole season?
He just won't go away.
I don't know that he could play a whole season at this point.
Backup quarterbacks wise, I would take Andy Dalton over him. Who? Andy Dalton might be the best backup quarterback in the league.
Right now, yeah.
Who's a better backup? I would take him over Jameis Winston.
I agree. Although I would put them pretty similar.
Actually, on the subject of backup quarterbacks, did we ever talk about the Chargers signing Trey Lance?
I don't think we've talked about it yet, but yeah, that happened.
Huh?
I don't think we talked about it yet.
I don't think we talked about it.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
It is.
I did not see that one coming at all.
Nobody did.
That was complete blindside. There was not a single Charger fan talking about that.
I mean, because who's their backup to Herb right now? Before Lance?
Well, the Chargers had Heineke, going into last season, the Chargers had Easton Stick.
That's right. That's who I was thinking of.
Who was someone that they drafted. I think they spent like a 5th round on Stick too, by the way. And he wasn't bad.
Yeah. And he got a few starts out of the deal.
But yeah, when Herbert went down at the end of Staley's last year, it was, Stick had a good 4-game stint to prove himself, show any kind of flashes of upper backup kind of potential.
Mm-hmm.
And he really did not show that. I don't think it was Rattler bad, but if I'm going to use an example of recent memory, it wasn't Rattler bad, but almost.
Yeah.
At no point did he not look overwhelmed and completely lost back there. So, going into last season, Stick was still there. And Stick had a pretty awful preseason.
Last summer.
Yeah, last summer Stick had a pretty awful preseason to the point where the opinion that came out of the building was that Ortiz and Harbaugh were like, this guy can't really run our practice squad. Like, he's so bad that like he doesn't. He makes our practice like we're not getting what we need to get out of practices, and that's a big deal to the Chargers coaches.
Right.
So there was grumblings that they weren't really happy with him, and then they signed this kid. Let's say Gonzalez? No, Perez. Luis Perez, who has been. I forget. There's an amateur football league, not XFL.
AFL.
But this Perez kid like has been winning championships in that league for years. He's still kind of young. Few teams have rostered him. He's never been able to stick on an NFL roster as the backup for some reason. So they brought him in actually before the end of preseason to give Stick some competition.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Chargers wound up signing Taylor Heineke, who Heineke
has been a solid career backup.
Yeah, I mean, he actually started a whole season and got like the Redskins or the Commanders like to the playoffs or something. Like it was. He reminds me of like a Case Keenum.
Yeah.
You remember Case Keenum?
I do.
He's kind of small but smart, feisty. He's so Case Keenum. He really is a Case. Yeah, he's Case.
Solid fundamentals.
He's Case Keenum. Like he can give you a chance to win. Like if Herbert goes down, this guy's not scared to throw and deliver the ball, and he doesn't look lost back there, though. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they signed Heineke to a decent backup contract, and I think we even traded some picks to get him too.
Ooh.
We gave some stuff up to get him.
Yeah, I mean, picks get traded for backup QBs.
It was clear that the Chargers were like, we need a quality backup.
Yeah.
To Herbert.
Because they're ready to win now. Like that roster is built to win now, and if you lose your QB and your backup is okay, you can still win a playoff game. But if your backup is trash, then you're just out.
I mean, it exemplifies the Chargers' credo of just competitors welcome. Like we're bringing in every position, we're going to churn it. We're going to churn it. We're not standing pat. We're going to upgrade all the time, everywhere, as much as we can.
Yeah. So now Heineke's going to be in a competition for backup. Because Heineke's still there, right?
But yeah, so we still have Heineke. I think we signed Heineke to like 2 or 3 years or something. I'm pretty sure we locked him down. Like they extended him.
I mean, I'm sure that's going to be a camp competition for backup. They're not going to keep both of those guys.
I'm pretty sure we extended him this last offseason.
And then a month later, signed Trey Lance.
And then a month later, we signed Trey Lance, yeah. And so they signed Lance to a pretty decent contract, something kind of comparable to Heineke's, actually.
Yeah. Like actual backup money.
Yeah, they spent some money on it. But it makes sense because your third string quarterback is the guy who runs
The scout team.
the scout team. And the scout team is supposed to mimic the other team against the starting defense. And Trey Lance is like
wheels.
a blue chip mobile type quarterback.
Yeah.
And that's who you play against. You've got Mahomes. I mean, half the quarterbacks, every team in the playoffs, the last two Super Bowl, look who made it to the Super Bowl, Hurts and Mahomes. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be able to defeat a mobile quarterback.
Well, and their division are Mahomes, Knicks.
Yeah,
Who's mobile.
you got Nix. Nix is mobile. He's
Yeah.
a scrambler. Like, so it makes a lot of sense that, like, you're going to target a dude that has, like, serious mobile skills. And, I mean, you're going to ask him to use it in practice every single week.
Right.
Because, I mean, we know what the Chiefs are going to do. The Chiefs are going to save that card. They save that card for when they're in trouble. So do the Eagles. We're going to beat you with our vanilla stuff. And then if we get in trouble, like, we're going to go mobile. And you won't be ready for it.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it's a smart strategic move by Harbaugh and Ortiz. They were like, dude, like, one of the top mobile quarterbacks prospects is available.
Do you think they keep both Heineke and Lance, or do you
Yes.
think they just go with Lance as
I mean, on game day, they're going.
It just doesn't make sense to sign him for so much money, though, because nobody else really wants him. You know, if you're just going to leave him on your practice squad, you don't have to worry about people just poaching him off your practice squad.
I mean, a
Nobody
lot of
wants
Charger
him.
fans were kind of like, "Why would you spend that kind of money?" Like, da da da. And I'm like, dude, like, if that increases the value you get out of practice and makes your defense that much better against mobile quarterbacks, like, that's money well spent, if you ask me.
Right.
Having an extra talented QB room is never going to be a bad thing. That always pays huge dividends on the backside.
We only got a few minutes left. Do you have anything else you want to bring up?
So I like the move. I think that's our episode.
Yeah.
Time to open up this coffee shop here, do some biz, but thanks for joining us. Always, as always, like and subscribe.
That's right. See you next time.
See you next time on Wednesday.